to Mr. Pascrell, the gentleman from New Jersey.
You know, I've heard better stories, Mr. Chairman, in the Bada Bing Club in New Jersey. I'm listening to the accounts of all of these poor people. And let me tell you what we're talking about here. You see this big chart? That's 99.85% that get nothing out of this legislation in the United States of America. And here's 0.15% get $270 billion of a tax cut. Here, let me use the magnifying glass and get a better picture of how much we're talking about. But you can all see that orange slash right there. You're telling me that this helps the common good? My friends on the other side of the aisle, and when I use the word friends, I mean it, have recently taken to talking about the lack of wage growth in this country. Yet, here we are today, considering legislation that will add, Mr. Speaker, $294.8 billion to the deficit for people who don't work at all. This whole idea that the estate tax hurts middle-class Americans in income that has already been taxed is simply not true. Much of this income has never been taxed. Repealing the estate tax in full would result in a massive tax cut for the wealthiest of the wealthy. It hits 5,500 households in this whole country, never mind Texas, the whole country, with estates worth more than $5 million. I mean, that's the law. I'm not making this stuff up as I go along. This bill only further exacerbates our already upside-down tax code. Our tax code is already stacked against hardworking labor income, and this bill would make it even worse. I sit on the House Budget Committee as well as Ways and Means, and after sitting, another minute at least.
Speaker, I yield an additional minute to the gentleman from New Jersey.
Thank you. After sitting through 13 hours of our budget markup, I could tell you that this $294.8 billion go a long way in making up for the devastating cuts that the other side of the aisle is inflicted on the middle class. It's also important to note that the budget does not assume, Mr. Ranking Member, the repeal of the estate tax. Where the heck they're going to get the $294.8 billion? It assumes a revenue neutral, I like it when they say it, a revenue neutral reform. It assumes that revenues will be exactly what CBO projects on the current law for the next 10 years. We really have only two conclusions. Either this bill is directly contrary to the budget, or it's not paid for today. Congress will at some point have to sit down, go down the road, pass a tax hike to pay for this massive deficit finance tax hike. You have no choice. You can't have it both ways. I'd like to hear from my good friend, the chairman, what his path will be to make up for this $298.5 billion. That's a lot of money, Mr. Speaker. Where the heck is it coming from?
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from Texas is recognized.